Okay, so now we're going to take the inverse sine of that 20 times sine of 150 divided by 29.09, and I get angle C is 20.1 degrees. So now I have all three sides and two of the angles. Stop it. And we just need to find our last angle now. So angle A, we know that all three angles in a triangle add to 180. And so we're going to subtract off the angle B we were given, the angle C we just found, and we get angle A is 9.9 degrees. So now we have all three sides, we have all three angles. Do not worry about setting things up so that you list all three sides and all three angles. We just want the pieces we have found. And going back, I realized that when I found side B, I left it as 29.09. I wanted to have it as precise as possible when I plugged it into the law of sines formula. Since our original values, A and C, are whole numbers, I'm going to take B to the tenths place. So I'm just going to round it to one place. Again, be careful if it says to round to a specific place. If not, use common sense. You should be going one place further than the numbers that you were given. Example 4, we are now solving for a side triangle, and it's really important that we pay attention to this part. We want to find the largest angle first. Keep in mind when we use law of sines and our range is restricted to the first and the fourth quadrant, we're always getting acute angles. When we use law of cosines, it is possible to get an obtuse angle. We want to make sure that when we use law of cosines, we're finding our largest angle first. The other thing I'm going to do is going back to page 2, I am not going to use the formulas for finding the angle. I'm going to go ahead and use the original law of cosines version because I want to point out a couple of things. At first, I want you to realize that you can do it this way, but there are a couple of mathematical places that people get a little hung up, and we want to try to avoid that. So we've got A is 6, B is 8, C is 12. That means that C is the longest side. It's going to be opposite the largest angle. So I'm going to use this version of my law of cosine. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in what I know. 12 squared equals 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 6 times 8. Again, cosine of C, that's what we'll eventually be solving for. Just so we have numbers, I got 144 equals 36 plus 64 minus 96. This must be the 96 I was thinking up above. Okay, I can add the 36 plus 64 together to get 100. I'm going to subtract that from both sides and get 44 equals. The negative has to stay in front of that 96. Cosine C. Keep in mind that 96 cannot be subtracted from the 100 because that is the multiplier on cosine C. And so now I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 96. Negative 96. Cosine of C equals negative 44 over 96. So what we're looking for is the inverse cosine of negative 44 over 96. That's going to give us our C, and we get an angle of 117.28. Definitely obtuse. And so I am going to make sure that I can find this easily. And then I will move on to finding another angle. Okay. Now, I know that I've got an obtuse angle. There's only going to be one in 180 degrees, the three angles in a triangle. Doesn't really matter if I find angle A or angle B first. Out of habit, though, I do always just go largest to smallest. So I'm going to go ahead and find angle B next. So I got the sine of angle B over the length of B, which is 8, equals the sine of angle 6, which we just found was 117.28. I'll round that up in a minute, over C, which is 12. So the sine of B is 8 times the sine of 117.28, all over 12. Just because I haven't put this in up above, rounded to 4 places, the sine of B is 0.5925. Inverse sine of that. Keep in mind, if you are plugging in these, your answer may be a little off mine. In the calculator, I am just recalling the last answer, so I am not rounding it to 4 places. I get angle B is 36.34 degrees. Again, I'm carrying them a little further than one place just because as I plug them into subsequent formulas, I want them to be as precise as possible. Perfectly fine to have angle C as 117.3, angle B is 36.34. And now we're going to find angle A, 180 minus 117.3 minus 36.3, and I get 26.4 degrees. Tend to make them a little more precise, but again, perfectly fine to cut them off at 1 decimal place and have angle C as 117.3, angle B is 36.3, and then angle A is 26.4.